They were supposed to be failures, rejected by top clubs, mocked by fans, and written off by the media. But through patience and hard work, these players turned their careers around and became some of the best footballers in the world. These are the stories of players who were labeled as flops but saved their careers and became legends of the game. When Chelsea signed Kevin De Bruyne in 2012, they thought they had secured one of Belgium's brightest prospects. The young midfielder had been tearing up the Belgian league, showcasing incredible vision, passing range, and an eye for goal. The expectations were sky high. But under Jose Mourinho, De Bruyne's Chelsea career died before it ever really began. Despite impressing in training and showing glimpses of brilliance in limited appearances, Mourinho barely gave him a chance. De Bruyne made just 9 appearances in his second season at Stamford Bridge, most of them meaningless minutes off the bench. He was constantly overlooked, watching from the sidelines as less talented players got opportunities ahead of him. Years later, De Bruyne opened up about how painful that period was, saying he felt disrespected and unwanted. Mourinho never believed in him, and Chelsea gave up quickly, selling him to Wolfsburg in 2014 for just £18 million. And that's when the world finally saw what Chelsea had thrown away. At Wolfsburg, De Bruyne exploded. In his first full season in the Bundesliga, he scored 10 goals and registered 21 assists, obliterating defenses with his passing and creativity. He was named Bundesliga Player of the Year and became one of the most sought-after players in Europe. Manchester City pounced, signing him for £55 million in 2015. At City, De Bruyne became unstoppable. He transformed into the most complete midfielder in the world, dictating games with his vision, work rate, and ability to score and create goals at an elite level. He's won multiple Premier League titles, broken assist records, and established himself as a generational talent. A world-class player was hiding in plain sight at Chelsea. They just never bothered to look. Before Robert Lewandowski became one of the greatest goal scorers in football history, he was just another Eastern European striker that nobody wanted. In 2010, Blackburn Rovers had the chance to sign him for just £4 million, but they passed on the deal after their volcanic ash prevented scouts from watching him play. Other top clubs looked at Lewandowski and saw nothing special. He wasn't particularly fast, he didn't have the build of a classic target man, and he was playing in Poland, far from Europe's elite leagues. Most teams thought he was just another decent striker who wouldn't cut it at the highest level. But then, Jurgen Klopp came calling. Borussia Dortmund took a chance on Lewandowski in 2010, and under Klopp's guidance, everything changed. The German manager saw something others had missed, raw talent that just needed proper coaching and belief. Klopp built the team around Lewandowski, giving him the platform to develop both physically and technically. And the Polish striker didn't waste the opportunity. He transformed his body, adding muscle and strength while refining his finishing, movement, and hold-up play. At Dortmund, Lewandowski scored 74 goals in 131 games, helping the club win back-to-back Bundesliga titles and reach the Champions League final. And then came Bayern Munich. After joining the German Giants in 2014, Lewandowski went from great to legendary. He shattered records left and right, scoring 5 goals in 9 minutes against Wolfsburg, winning the European Golden Shoe, and averaging over 40 goals per season for nearly a decade. In 2020, many believed he deserved the Ballon d'Or, an award that was canceled due to the pandemic, robbing him of the individual recognition he'd earned. Late bloomers don't look special at first, but Robert Lewandowski proved that with the right coach, patience, and relentless work ethic, even rejected strikers can become legends. When Mohamed Salah arrived at Chelsea in 2014, the hype was real. The Egyptian winger had just torn up the Swiss league with Basel, destroying defenses with his lightning pace and clinical finishing. Chelsea saw him as the next superstar, a player who could light up Stamford Bridge for years to come, but it never happened. Under Jose Mourinho, Salah barely got a chance to prove himself. He made just 13 appearances in his first season, most of them meaningless cameos off the bench. Mourinho didn't trust him. The manager thought Salah wasn't physical enough, wasn't ready for the intensity of the Premier League. And as the minutes dried up, so did Salah's confidence. The media started questioning whether he had what it took to succeed in England. Critics labeled him not Premier League level, and Chelsea seemed to agree. After just one season, they gave up on him completely, sending him out on loan to Fiorentina before eventually selling him to Roma. But that's when everything changed. At Roma, Salah finally got what he desperately needed: consistent playing time and the freedom to express his talent. Over 2 seasons in Italy, he exploded onto the scene, scoring 34 goals and proving all the doubters wrong. And then came Liverpool. In 2017, Jurgen Klopp brought Salah to Anfield, and the rest is history. In his first season, Salah broke records left and right, smashing in 32 Premier League goals and winning the Golden Boot. He helped Liverpool win the Champions League, then the Premier League title, establishing himself as one of the greatest wingers in football history. Today, Salah is a Liverpool legend. And Chelsea's decision to give up on him after one season, it's widely considered one of the biggest mistakes in the club's history. The talent was always there. Mohamed Salah just needed patience and the right coaching to become a superstar. When Luka Modric arrived at Real Madrid in 2012, the Spanish media tore him apart. The Croatian midfielder wasn't flashy, he wasn't physically imposing, and he didn't fit the Galactico mold that Madrid was known for. He was small, quiet, and unassuming. And after a difficult first season where he struggled to adapt to the pace and intensity of La Liga, the Spanish newspaper Marca voted him the worst signing of the season. The fans agreed. They thought Modric was too weak, too slow, and simply not good enough for Real Madrid. The criticism was relentless. People questioned why Madrid had spent £30 million on a midfielder who looked lost on the pitch. Many believed he'd be sold within a year or two, just another failed signing in a long line of expensive mistakes. But Modric didn't give up. He kept working, kept learning, and slowly began to prove everyone wrong. The turning point came as Modric developed tactical maturity and earned the trust of his coaches. He wasn't the fastest or the strongest, but his football intelligence was off the charts. He could read the game like few others, controlling tempo, dictating play, and making everyone around him better. Season by season, Modric transformed into the brain of Real Madrid, the player who made everything tick in midfield. And then the trophies started piling up. Modric won 4 Champions League titles with Madrid, becoming the heartbeat of one of the greatest teams in football history. In 2018, he capped it all off by winning the Ballon d'Or, breaking the Messi-Ronaldo duopoly and becoming the first midfielder in over a decade to claim the award. From worst signing of the season to Ballon d'Or winner, Luka Modric proved that football intelligence can overcome any physical doubts. Virgil van Dijk was never a wonder kid. He didn't come through Barcelona's academy or shine at a top European club from his teenage years. He was a late bloomer who worked his way up from the Scottish League to Southampton, steadily improving with each season. And when Liverpool came calling in January 2018, they shocked the football world by paying £75 million for him, making him the most expensive defender in history. The reaction was brutal. Pundits questioned whether any defender could possibly be worth that much money. Rival fans mocked Liverpool, calling it a desperate and reckless overpay. Even some Liverpool supporters were nervous, wondering if the club had lost its mind spending a world record fee on a center-back who'd been playing at Southampton just months earlier. The pressure on Van Dijk was immense, but then he stepped onto the pitch at Anfield, and everything changed overnight. Liverpool's defense, which had been a shambles for years, suddenly became one of the best in Europe. Van Dijk brought composure, leadership, and an aura of calm that transformed the entire team. He was dominant in the air, lightning quick for his size, and almost impossible to beat one-on-one. Attackers looked terrified facing him. The trophies followed immediately. Van Dijk led Liverpool to the Champions League title in 2019, then the Premier League crown the following season, ending the club's 30-year wait. He won UEFA Men's Player of the Year and finished second in Ballon d'Or voting, the highest finish for a defender in decades. Suddenly, £75 million looked like a bargain. Van Dijk proved that value isn't measured by price tags, it's measured by impact. And his impact made him the best center-back of his generation. When Raphinha left Brazil for Portugal as a teenager, there was no fanfare, no big money transfer, no hype. He wasn't the next Neymar or Ronaldinho. He was just another young Brazilian trying to make it in Europe with no safety net and no guarantees. And for years, it looked like he might not make it at all. In Portugal, Raphinha bounced around on loan deals, struggling to find stability or consistency. He played for Vitória Guimarães B, then Avaí on loan back in Brazil, then back to Portugal again. Coaches doubted him. Clubs weren't sure what to do with him. At one point, Raphinha was dangerously close to falling out of top-level football entirely. Just another talented kid who couldn't quite break through. But then everything clicked. At Vitória Guimarães, Raphinha finally got consistent minutes and showed what he could do. His performances caught the eye of Rennes in France, and from there, Leeds United came calling in 2020. At Leeds, Raphinha became a revelation. He carried the team on his back, scoring crucial goals, creating chances out of nothing, and establishing himself as one of the Premier League's most exciting wingers. He was electrifying. In 2022, Barcelona signed him, but the criticism returned immediately. Fans and pundits questioned whether he was good enough for a club like Barca, whether he had the technical quality to fit their system. Once again, Raphinha had to prove the doubters wrong, and he did. He delivered in big matches, scored important goals, and helped Barcelona win La Liga. Not everyone rises fast. Some players take the long road, fighting through rejection and instability before finally reaching the top. Raphinha is proof that the hard way can still get you there. These players show us that failure isn't final. Whether it's bad coaching, lack of patience, injuries, or simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time, early struggles don't define a career. With the right opportunity, belief, and relentless work ethic, even the biggest flops can become legends. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more football stories.